Hello, Fountain here, and today I'm going to talk, on the topic of colours, and I guess it kind of bleeds into the topic of colour therapy. And for some reason, I got a message to do a vlog talking about colours and how you can use them in your life. Now, I'm sure we are all aware by now, science can prove that colours have a certain effect on the human. Elders have known about this for as long as you think that human civilization has been around, and obviously certain organisations, well, most organisations will use colours to their advantage, to get what they can. Marketing, I guess, is the blatant way to sort of put that one. So we know it works, and I guess, there is another element to it, obviously, depending on your cultural and geographical sort of location. Certain colours may have different sort of certain symbols and meanings to you, but there is also some science out there showing that irrespective of that, there can still be sometimes a very similar underlying, message that people get from certain colours. Now, I'm not going to cover what colours may be associated with what and how that can necessarily affect the human. You're welcome to do that research yourself, and you could even, I don't want to say bypass, but you could skip that process by just intuitively feeling into a colour and feeling how that affects you. But of course, if you want to get your mind involved and your intellect involved, you're more than welcome to go in and read that research. So there's sort of two pathways there, well, three, maybe more, is, you can go and look at the research, or you can go and do the intuitive work, or you can do a blending of the both. Maybe there's even another whole category there, but yes, I'm moving away from the topic if I spend too much time on that point. So using colour to bring in an emotion and energy, or to release an emotion or energy, can be done through a variety of ways. And I'm just going to touch on a small number of them right now. So one of them is obviously the clothes that you wear. I'm wearing this beautiful red top right now, and so that's going to bring some kind of feeling or emotion, or maybe help me release a feeling or emotion by the colour of the top that I'm wearing. It can do. These are things, should I say, that can happen. I'm not saying they will. I'm not giving you some 110% guarantee. This is just me sharing some ponderings you can take from this vlog as you wish. Of course, another one is your house, or the place in which you reside in, and obviously the interior and the exterior. Obviously things like your garden. So what are you planting in your garden? What are you collecting from your garden and bringing into your space? Bringing into your kitchen, bringing into your lounge, some flowers, etc., etc. Art. So what kind of art do you like to create? I'm not saying all art forms involve colour, but many do. So whether that be photography, painting, drawing, all of that sort of thing, there is obviously, you can use colours in that to bring in or release, obviously, energies and emotions. Things like your geographical location. So when you leave your place of supposed residence and you go on your walkabout, are you then walking out into a red desert? Is it a yellow desert? Is it a beach? Is it, you get what I mean? So different geographical locations provide different colours to you, to your being, obviously a lot of your surroundings as well. And obviously you can bring in those sort of pictures of geographical locations into your space too. Like you could hang them on your wall, of course, if you're a bit sick of looking at, not sick of it, you're like, okay, well, it looks kind of just a couple of colours out there. I want to bring another geographical location into my space. So, creating some art you can hang on your wall, taking a picture, buying someone's art, all of that sort of thing. Stones, yeah, so stones are a lovely way sometimes of bringing in colour. I guess that fits in the category of rocks and crystals and all of that sort of thing. They can definitely bring in or release emotion through colour. Jewellery, again, obviously a way in which you can wear things like that as well, having them on your body. And obviously if there are things in places that you often see, so like your wrist and your hand, if it's a long necklace. Things like earrings, you know, you don't generally see that sort of stuff unless you're in the mirror in the reflection. Another way of bringing in colour is food. So what colour of the foods are you eating? A good reminder, if your food's starting to look a bit brown and not very vibrant, you know, that might be a good indicator to bring in some rainbow sort of looking food on your plate. You know, we know generally the whole saying of eat your colours, and that outside that, I think there's like a marketing thing of a particular confectionery company that talks something like that. But sitting outside that, we often know, you know, if you've got a nice variety of natural coloured or natural foods, whatever that means, but I'm sure you get where I'm going with that, on your plate, you know, there's reds, there's yellows, there's blues. I mean, some of these colours are not very prominent actually within our plant kingdom, but you know, you still can find them, and obviously it's obviously a great way to ensure that you're bringing in certain colours into your being. Obviously things, now that we've just talked about food, eating and drinking vessels. So, you know, what the colours of your plates, colours of your forks. Do you have something like some art or some words or particular colours on your mug, you know, things like that, on your drink bottle? That again is another area that we sometimes kind of can forget about. And the last, I guess, area I want to talk about is like your work/service environment. So where is it that you're finding that you're providing a lot of the service to humanity, to your community, to your family? What colours are within that environment? You know, if it's quite sterile, suppose a sterile environment, something like an office, well, obviously you can bring certain things in, again, your art and whatnot, into that office to bring in certain emotions or help release certain emotions. You know, maybe your service environment is you do work in a garden, so what sort of colours are you experiencing in that environment? All of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess the main point of this was for me just to show you, to play with it, you know, see how it affects you. You know, I'm curious to know your experience with this, if you have already done so, or what your experience is now that you've watched this. And you're welcome to come back and comment later, you know, 2, 3, 5, 10 years later after I've made this, if you want, and tell me your experience with this. You know, like, it's you know, life is supposed to be fun in a lot of aspects, and I guess this is another area that I may consider to be, you know, a fun way to experience and play with, and especially if you've got children, you know, getting them to play with it too. It's just about being really interactive and I guess kind of grounded with your physical third dimensional environment. And you know, colour is usually all around us, depending on obviously where you are and what kind of situation you are in. And you know, I also remind you, not restricted by just the colours in which you reside in. You can bring in colours in a myriad of ways, even if you don't have a lot of supposed financial freedom or resources. You know, it's about being creative. Yeah. So that's all I needed to say on this topic. And like I said, leave your comments, questions down below. You can find me on various other social media platforms. And I look forward to seeing you soon.